Hello Legacy students, Marsh here. So today we're going to look at classifying conic sections. What you're going to have on you is your notebook, calculator just to do some simple math, and then you're definitely going to want your thinking caps today. Today what we're going to be looking at is general conic equations. So any conic can be described by a general second degree equation in x and y. Something that looks like that. Now, we need to be able to make that big giant gross looking equation into one of the general forms of the conics that we already recognize. The circle, the square, the ellipse, the parabola, any of those. But first, we need to remember how to complete the square. Long ago, when we did quadratics, that was first semester, we learned how to complete the square. Let's remember how to do so before we start the rest of today. So first thing, remember, completing the square, you couldn't have a number in front of your x squared. That didn't work when you were completing the square. So what we did is then we divided everybody by 2. So I got x squared plus 4x minus 14 equals 0. Then we kicked the number to the other side. Remember that? Because we had to make room for blank. So I'll have 14 on this side plus also blank. So if I add blank over here, better add blank over here. Now remember how to find blank. You take the middle number, divide by 2, and square it. 4, divide by 2, square. I think that'll be 4. So then we would factor. This is now a perfect square on the left-hand side, which is factorable. And so numbers that make 4, multiply to make 4, but add together to give me 4, that would be 2 and 2, right? So I can write this as x plus 2 times x plus 2 on this side equals, and this is 18, but x plus 2 times x plus 2, that's just x plus 2 squared equals 18. Then you square root it, so you got x plus 2 equals 3 square root of 2, didn't forget the plus or minus, so then x equals negative 2 plus or minus 3 square roots of 2. That's how we completed the square. Now in this case, actually, hold on guys, I forgot to divide by 2 on that 14. Oopsies. So this should be 7, this would have been 11. So then my actual answer, Marsh went a little crazy there, would have been the square root of 11. There we go. Negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 11. Forgot to divide that 14 by 2. So we're going to be completing the square on every single one of these problems today, sometimes twice in one problem. So let's take a look. I'm going to classify this conic given by 4x squared plus y squared minus 8x minus 8 equals 0. Here's the steps we're going to want to take. The first one, we're going to want to get the x and y terms together. So put all the x stuff by each other, all the y stuff by each other, that kind of whatnot. So let's go ahead and move and just rearrange our equation. So I got 4x squared minus 8x plus y squared minus 8 still equals 0. So all I did is just took this negative 8x and plopped it right beside its x squared cousin. Then let us move number to the other side. Like that. So I'm going to add 8 to both sides. So I got 4x squared minus 8x plus y squared equals 8. Now, you're going to have to complete the square on x. Sometimes on y too. Depending on what kind of conic you're working on, and depending if there's a y term. In this case, it didn't have a y term, so I don't have to complete the square on the y squared as well. All I have to do is complete the square on the x's. So let's go ahead and group those guys. So I got 4x squared minus 8x plus y squared equals 8. Now notice, guys, I do have a 4 here. I need to complete this piece right here. I need to do completing the square on this piece. I have a 4 there, so let's factor it out. So I'll have 4 x squared minus 2x plus blank. So I'm going to start doing my completing this of the square. Now remember, guys, if we added blank over here, we better add blank over here. But this blank is not just blank. It actually is 4 times that number because we factored out the 4. So I actually have to add on 4 blank. 4 times blank over on this side, just because I pulled out that 4. Let's find that, and let's go ahead and complete my square all the way. So I gotta take this number, divided by 2, that's negative 1, square it, this would be 1, so my blank is 1. Completing that square, 2 numbers that multiply to give me 1, but add together to give me negative 2. That would be negative 1 and negative 1. So x minus 1 squared is technically this. Plus y squared equals 12. Now, right now it doesn't look like a general form. I'm equal to 12. I have a number sitting out front here. So if you ever have a number sitting outside of the squared terms, you're going to want to divide this number. So I'm going to pop up here for my answer. I'm going to get x minus 1 squared divided by 3, because 4 over 12 is 1/3, plus y squared over 12 equals 1. This is an ellipse, centered at the point 1, 0. Let's try another one. So I have y squared minus 2y minus 6x minus 29. So let's first step, get all the y stuff together. I think it is, ooh, that's kind of different. I do not have an x squared term either. Well, and the only conic that didn't have both x and y squared was a parabola. So this has got to be a parabola. So what I'm going to do is move the 6x and the 29 to the same over on the other side. Just kind of, and I'm going to put plus blank over there too. So I'm going to get 6x plus 29 plus blank over here. Don't have to factor anything out because I'm equal to 1. So let's find our blank. That will be negative 2 divided by 2, and then squared, which will be 1. So I will get this, factor that, it'd be y minus 1 squared. So I get y minus 1 times y minus 1. That's equal to 6x plus 30. Now it doesn't look, I can't tell where my center is because I still have like x plus 30. Usually there's no number in front of the x, but 6 and 30 share a number. So we can factor out a 6, and I'll have x plus 5 there. So this is in fact a parabola. This parabola has a center of negative 5, 1. Or a vertex, excuse me. So be careful. A lot of times parabolas are the easiest to find because either you just have an x squared term or you just have a y squared term. And let's try to figure out which one this is. Looks like I gotta rearrange, so let's do some rearranging here. There we go. I'm going to kick the 1 to the other side and do some grouping here. So I'm going to get equal to negative 1. Let's go ahead and put our blanks so I can start completing the square. Now notice on this one, guys, I am going to complete the square double times. 1 for the x's, 1 for the y's. That's when sometimes you might have to complete the square twice in one problem so you can get that nice squared and squared term. I am negative 1, but notice, guys, I am going to have to add 2 things on this side because I'm adding 2 things on this side. Let's find x's blank. That would be 1. So I'm going to put a 1 over here. Y would be 4 divided by 2, 4. There we go. Completing the square over here, x squared minus 2x plus 1, x minus 1 squared, I think. Because numbers I multiply to give you 1, but add together and give you negative 2. Yeah, it's negative 1. Plus, numbers that multiply to give us 4, but add together to give us 4. That would be 2. So that would be y plus 2 squared equals, and on this side I get 4. Notice no numbers sitting out front, just ones technically. So technically this is the standard form. This is a circle because there's no numbers to be divided. I don't have to divide by that 4. If I would, it would look like an ellipse. However, it would be an ellipse that has vertices and co-vertices the same distance apart from the center, which would be just a circle in all regards. Last one of the video. So we have 4x squared minus y squared minus 16x minus 4y minus 4. Holy buckets. Let's get everybody together here. Let's get our x squareds together, or our x terms. Let's get my y's together. Then I'm going to kick 4 to the other side right away. Get them out of the way. Let's go ahead and do some grouping here. Not grouping in the sense of factoring grouping, but grouping so I can kind of see the x terms and the y squared, the y terms alone. It looks like I needed to factor out a 4 before I can complete the square on this guy. I'll go ahead and put plus blank there. Y squared technically has a 1 there. Can't complete the square with that either, so I'm going to factor out that negative 1. Go ahead and put my blank. So I have 4 plus, and here's where a lot of students forget, and then it does not work out as well as they would want to. It would be 4 times blank for right here, because that 4 would distribute back in once I would multiply, find this blank, right? And then negative 1 times the other blank, because that's what is also there. 4 divided by 2 squared, that would be 4, fill my blank. Same thing here. Okay, so I have 4 numbers that multiply to give me 4, add bx minus 2 squared. Yeah. Okay, minus 1, y must be plus 2 squared equals 4 plus 16, that's 20, minus 4, that's 16. Notice, guys, numbers sitting in front can't be. So that tells me I have to divide by this number. So I have x minus 2 squared over 4, well, minus y plus 2 squared over 16, because the 1 in the 16, negative 1 over 16 is just negative 1 over 16. But since I am subtracting, I have a hyperbola. He is centered at 2, negative 2, and he is a left and right guy. And that's the end of this video. See you later, Sabers.